Welcome to the ultimate enduro prize fight. We've brought together two direct sales heavy hitters to find out which is the ultimate value for money enduro bike. In the red corner, we have the YT Industries Capra AL Comp 1, and in the blue corner, it's the Canyon Strive AL 6.0 race. Boasting the innovative shapeshifter technology that lets you change the attitude and travel of the bike at a push of a button, the Strive's lightweight frame construction and great sizing promises to make it every bit as fast uphill as down. Yet, when we straddled the Strive for the first time, we noticed that the head angle felt more akin to a modern trail bike than a fully formed enduro racer. Canyon lists the head angle as 66 degrees in a slack setting, but we measured it a full degree steeper. Not only is this incredibly frustrating, but it renders the shapeshifter completely redundant, as we certainly didn't need an even steeper geometry setting. The Canyon is fitted with a 160mm Roxrox Pike RC, which doesn't take the edge off the bumps quite as smoothly as the RCT3 version, but you still get the stout 35mm chassis and adjustable spring volume. We ran two bottomless tokens in the fork to get more mid-stroke support and help mitigate the effect of the steep head angle when descending. Being the entry-level race model, the Strive AL 6.0 doesn't get the additional adjustability of the Monarch Plus RC3 rear shock found on the higher spec bikes. Basic Monarch Plus R is still a great performer though, and with 163mm of travel and a super supple action, the rear end on the Strive makes light work of even the roughest trails. Compared to the high-spec Carbon CF 9.0 we tested last year, it's not quite as ruthlessly efficient. This is down to the different damping circuit in the Monarch Plus R shock and the fact that the larger 34-tooth chainring reduces the anti-squat. Pedaling efficiency isn't everything though, and the more open action of the rear shock meant that the 6.0 actually fared better than the 9.0 on rougher terrain. The Strive's true calling is fast-flowing single track. Yes, we know it's billed as a race-ready enduro bike, but the geometry on our test model placed it squarely in trail bike territory. As such, the Strive is lightning fast out of the blocks and super easy to manoeuvre thanks to the progressive rear suspension and low slung top tube. The sizing and proportions are also excellent, and because you feel perfectly centered between the contact patches of the tyres, flat corners can be hit so hard that you can almost peel the side knobs clean off the tyres. It's a seriously good trail bike. Venture into more challenging terrain however, and it's easy to upset the balance of the Canyon as your weight shifts forward and the effect of the steeper head angle becomes more pronounced. Clever as Canyon's shapeshifter geometry and travel adjust feature is, we never felt the need to use it other than to check that it actually worked. That's because even in the slack setting, the 67-degree head angle on the Strive is already at the steeper end of what's acceptable on an enduro bike. It's absolutely on the money for trail riding though, and with Canyon's recent price adjustment, the Strive AL 6.0 race is the best long-legged trail bike we've tested by a mile. The YT Capra AL Comp 1 costs €2,799, which translate to about £2,200 depending on the exchange rate. This alloy version of the formidable Carbon Capra still sports carbon seat stays, and you get a choice of 4 frame sizes instead of 3 for the composite bike. The addition of an XL frame brings the maximum reach measurement on the Capra up to 460mm, which still isn't long by modern standards, but it's big enough to provide a good fit for anyone around the 6-foot mark. Another feature that long-legged riders will really appreciate is the 150mm drop reverb, with a right-hand remote tucked neatly under the left brake lever. With a slack 64 head angle and long 1222mm wheelbase, the Capra is designed for proper alpine shredding. On flatter, more sedate trails, the Capra is an MTB equivalent of a gun at a knife fight, but this is where the mid-compression setting on the Monarch Plus RC3 shock comes in handy for tightening up the response of the rear suspension. An added bonus being that by propping up the rear end, it's noticeably easier to load the front tyre for grip on flat corners. It's when gravity has your back, however, that the Capra is the perfect weapon of choice. And it's in steep, nasty terrain where the big rotors, heavy-duty wheels and the extra travel all make perfect sense. The more sophisticated RCT3 damper and stronger negative spring on the 170mm travel Lyric also meant that the Pike RC on the canyon struggles to keep up. So the Capra offers an eye-wateringly fast ride on the descents, yet at 14.4 kilos, it is still light enough to pedal all day. More importantly, it's agile enough that you can still pop the bike into the air and land anywhere on the trail with pinpoint accuracy. And it's this light touch that makes the Capra such an engaging and fun bike to ride. Be warned though, this bike has a lot of firepower, so if you're not hunting down abandoned downhill tracks or tearing up every descent, you'd probably be better off on the more efficient Canyon Strive. With that caveat out of the way, we can't recommend the Capra AL Comp 1 highly enough.